When I was sitting in my parents' basement thinking about, okay, what is the perfect way to make a living where I can follow what my grandfather always told me, which is work smarter, kid, not harder. And I thought about, it's not about how much you make, but it's about how much you keep. And what that means is, sure, at the time I could have been a computer programmer making $80,000 a year. And that would have been well and good, being a W-2 employee. But then I read the Retire Young, Retire Rich book by Robert Kiyosaki. And what was so amazing was that he gave you a plan to execute about, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. And he talked about the advantages from a tax standpoint and all the different loopholes that are legal loopholes that the real estate industry allows you to have as a real estate investor by doing what the government wants, which is providing housing for people. When I learned that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is smart. So let's just talk about being a W-2 employee versus being myself, who is a real estate investor. If you're out there and you're making $250,000 a year, and let's say you're a salesperson, so you have a salary of $150,000 and then you get a bonus of $100,000. Well, your salary of $150,000, you're probably in a high tax income bracket. So you're going to pay probably 20-30% in taxes. And then you're not going to get benefits, like you're not going to be able to write off certain costs with your house and all these different things because you make too much money. So at the end of the day, that all gets sucked out of your pocket and all your costs are higher because you're a high income earner. And let's say that's 50% out the door net of your salary, which is $150,000. So that's $75,000 that you bring home that you actually get to put in your bank account and you actually get to go spend. And then you get this big bonus because you did amazing, because you busted your ass, you did everything you're supposed to do, you reached your goals, and you got a $100,000 bonus. You should be excited about that. But countless times I talk with people who are salespeople who get these big bonuses and they're pissed. And I go, why are you pissed? You just got a $100,000 bonus. Because 50% of it off the top, because it's a bonus, because I'm a high income earner, blah, 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 blah. I don't need to tell you guys if you're out there making that kind of money, goes right to the government. So you just lost half your salary and half your bonus to taxes and all these different costs, and then you don't qualify for all this stuff. That has to be frustrating. That has to piss you off, because I know a lot of people that are in that situation, and it pisses them off, because it's like, what's the point? Why should I work this hard? Like, I'd rather just make $100,000 and not have to give all that tax away. And that's the point. Because if you're a real estate developer like myself, I get all these different advantages. For instance, I can buy a property, I can make a $100,000 profit on it, and I can 1031 exchange that profit into another property, which will then spit out more income for me, called cash flow, which is all tax-free. I don't have to pay taxes on the income. So the other thing is, if I'm a developer and I make a bunch of money building homes and then selling those homes, let's say I make $200,000 building homes and then selling those homes as a developer. And then I take that $200,000 and I invest it into multifamily commercial real estate, or any type of commercial real estate where I can take depreciation, or what they call cost segregation, and I can depreciate that entire $200,000 or a huge chunk of it, and I won't have to pay taxes on the gain that I had of the income that I brought in for building houses, because I offset it by investing in multifamily residential homes that gave me the ability to use cost segregation and accelerated depreciation. Now, these are a couple of things that I get to do, a couple levers I get to pull, but now I don't have to pay as much as tax as the sales guy out there, W-2, who makes $250,000, because if I make $250,000, I might have only paid $50,000 in tax. And that's what I call working smarter and not harder. Most people don't understand that's possible. If you're in the real estate game, you know about it. But even people that are realtors don't understand how these things are possible. This is one of the biggest advantages of being in the real estate business, and one of the biggest reasons why 20 years ago, when I was sitting there in my parents' basement going, man, what should I do? What would be the smartest way to work smarter and not harder? What would be the smartest way to make the most but give up the least? And that's one of the reasons why I got into real estate.